Now, last episode on the Just Create SMP, I ended up transferring redstone, copper, iron, and brass, all from our different facilities that are producing those things, and I brought them back to the mall. To get you caught up to speed on what the mall is, just in case you missed those episodes, it is a massive logistical setup here that allows us to auto-craft a ton of things, built up of individual modules, which I can then use factory gauges to send product to then be crafted. And this project I set up pretty early on in the server, and I ended up turning it into a shop, and it has made so much money. Still, to this day, continuing to make money, and I've even been told to raise my prices because they're too cheap. But as the fantastic businessman I am not going to raise those prices. No. We are going to keep them nice and affordable so everyone can purchase stuff. But that only goes for the things that are here currently, because today we are going to auto-craft several other things. Now that we have access to redstone and we have access to brass and copper, we could quite literally automate everything. Now, I was a little worried whenever I first set this whole thing up. I was worried about just using a single vault and if this was actually going to be able to handle just a single vault. And it turns out, yeah, it actually handles it quite fine. And by using and handling everything from this single vault, it has actually made the auto crafting process so much easier, considering the way that this works, right? So this is a slow crafter. It will craft over time and it will eventually catch up on everything as things are needed. So it doesn't really need to be super fast, but it makes it so much faster to build and set up if we just simply work from the one container. And I was wondering, like, am I close to like filling this up? And yeah, we have a lot more space to work with. So to get this started, we have to do a few things. And those few things are going to include getting the iron and copper and brass and redstone and quartz all into the main system. And we're going to do that using our factory gauges. Basically the same thing that we've done before, except this time these request in bulk so our train can store a ton of them. And then we'll just simply send a stack or so over here to hold so we can use those for our autocrafts. So that means it's more frog port time. Yes, I've got to get frog ports on top of every single one of these extended packagers. Now, while I'm doing this, I have heard a lot of you wanting a schematic of this build, and as much as I would love to do a schematic, I don't think that any of the factory gauges will be linked up. So that would be kind of frustrating. You would still have to go do what, in my opinion, is the hardest part, and that is doing all of this. But I might, after today's episode, depending on how far we get in here, I might take a schematic snapshot of this and get you guys at least the floor plan. Like, I think that'd be a pretty decent thing. That way you will at least have like the infrastructure to set up, and then you could take and I don't know, just link them all yourself. Now, on all of these frog ports, we do want to get some stock links on here so that way we can interact with this with our factory gauges. And I mean, this is just a slow process. I mean, but the main point of the process, we link to the thing that we want. For example, this is iron, and I just have to take this that's linked, go ahead and drop it over here, same as we've done for all of these, place it on to keep this in stock, and then I'll set what I want to keep in stock. It sees that there's already some in here, but we just have to set it to main CA as the place, and then we just make sure that there is a certain amount in stock. For example, we can say like 2 stacks, 1 stack. I mean, it's such a small distance, so like 1 stack is probably not that big of a deal. I mean, if this becomes a problem, like keeping just 1 stack in there, then we can always adjust these as we go. But I gotta do this for all the other materials. Ooh, we'll be able to see this work at the moment. This right here should be copper. Yes, because there wasn't copper in here originally. And there we go. So yeah, this is how you get items and keep them in stock in main. And I have 3 of these set up. I mean, this should work on here. I was kind of originally concerned, like, what happens if this one scoops it up? Because I'm not sure how the factory gauges read to remove the promises. I'm hoping that all of them being linked in the same inventory is what clears the promises, but I don't know. Now, after getting all of those in place, I wanted to come over here and check, how's my power tokens doing? I haven't checked this in a while. Oh boy, I think we're probably going to run out of power tokens soon. I should probably head over and purchase some. Look, I kind of wonder, like, I checked earlier, like, to get redstone, and I noticed Stam's area was completely shut down. I'm wondering, did Stam run out of power tokens? I don't know why I'm going in here. This is where I need to go. Yes. Let's see. 64. That's the exchange coming soon. Aha. You're the power tokens. Yeah. 1 diamond for 64. Like, yeah. You can buy a whole bunch of these. How about 27, my fine sir? That would be an entire shulker box worth, and that will fill my system back up. Just get these placed in here, and yeah, we're gonna be good. Now, you know what? As I'm setting up the redstone, I was thinking what I could possibly do, since Stam's area is down temporarily, and I don't want to go flying back and forth, I could probably just purchase a whole bunch of redstone from Beardstone. I mean, I'm gonna want to make sure that I have enough redstone in here to jumpstart all of the things I want to craft today. And here we are, Mr. Redstone's stones that's red. I love that so much. Does he have a loader of sorts? Okay, so the items go into here. I wonder if they come in package form. That would be really, really nice. But it's 1 diamond for 64, and we know 27 equals an entire shulker box. And I have about 3 shulker boxes I want to fill. So, I mean, 81 is not going to be too bad. I mean, I would hope that he has enough in here to support that. 3 shulker boxes full. 81 is the magic number. Come on. 81. Beautiful. I mean, that's 3 shulker boxes. 81 diamonds. Yes, and it does show up in box form. That is so much easier to carry. So I can just pick that up, take that with me, and now we have all the redstone we're going to need. Don't even need to put them in a shulker box. Also, don't mind what you might have seen on the, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that, and I really can't wait to see what happens with that. And for this, to send the items in, we can place the package directly in, and it's going to go and fill. That's beautiful. So now we get to start automating, and I think it's time for the fun stuff. Let's first start with our casings. We're going to need to be able to make copper casings and brass casings. These are going to be kind of the fundamentals for a lot of other things we're going to be making very soon. Thankfully, to be able to do this, there's not much that needs to change. This is casings, and this is the process that does all of the casings. However, it's only set up at the moment for andesite. We need to change this, and we need to make it support all 3. So we need andesite, copper in here, and also brass. And once we have all of those, this is technically able to do all those casings. And this is how a lot of these things are going to go. I'm just going to end up clicking on here to select the same network. And then inside of this is going to be what we're going to be producing, right? Which we can do copper casings in this one. And in this one, we can do brass casings. Then I just have to copy this. I have no idea who Bert is, by the way. I don't know why. There must be a clipboard nearby that just says Bert. Like, what? Like, if you know anything about Bert, let me know down in the comments. I don't know why I'm seeing this. But, yes, I almost forgot about this, right? We already have a couple of these things here. For example, I already have a factory gauge for the quartz, so we don't need a new factory gauge for that. But we are going to need a factory gauge for all of our base resources. So we're going to need one for copper, brass, and we're going to need one now for redstone. Iron, we thankfully already have. And we're going to need this to be able to make these casings. So I'm just going to set them over here as the primary. And thankfully, it doesn't really matter where you place this in. Everything's going to connect to everything. So yeah, we're probably going to even need to extend. Unfortunately, it can't like turn. That'd be really cool if you could like turn it. But yeah, if we're going to have to extend, we're either going to have to extend up or down. I really don't know what I'm going to do. We can't go up because that's lava. So yeah. So there we go. Beautiful. These don't have to change or anything. We don't have to even add any changes to them. They just need to exist so that way we can link them up for recipes. Just like this. So for this casing, we are going to connect, and I need to go over here, and the recipe is just simply adding a stripped log of some sort, and then also adding copper. And I believe that is it for the casing recipe. As you can see, based on the way that I ended up building my module that supports this, I mean, that's as simple as adding that. And what we could do just to make sure and test is we can set this to 1 stack. I should have set it to 1, but 1 stack is fine. It's going to send all of the ingredients, hopefully over here, to be processed. And yes, there it goes. Looks like it is, yeah, it is starting. And inside here, we have our copper casings that's being made. And it's basically the same thing over here. This is going to be a lot of just connecting up and hoping that I get all of my connections right. There we go. That target amount is set. 1 to 1, and then we can also set this to a stack. Now that casings are done, let's move into the part that I've needed automated for a really long time, and that is the Electron tubes. So the Electron tubes is going to be a 3-step process. We're going to, 1, need to mix this up inside of some sort of crafter that is a mixer potentially. I would prefer to not do it this way, so definitely doing it the mixing route is probably pretty good. And then after that is made, we are going to be sending it through a grinder. This is from the Enchantment Industries. And then finally, we do have to craft this inside of our crafters. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe I don't actually want to send it into a mixer. I think this is going to complicate the setup a bit, and we don't want this to be like something that's incredibly fast. So possibly doing this in the crafter, yeah, we could definitely do this. I mean, this is going to be a very quick way of crafting it, and I would recommend doing it this way if you had like a setup that was just passively crafting it. But in our case, it might be best if we do it this way, and then that will get sent and be grinded, and then that will ultimately then need to be crafted again. So yeah, I mean, we have dual crafters over here, and I could always add another crafter set, like very similar to this one, in another area, and just name it like Crafter 2 if this ever gets too saturated. But I mean, look at it. Most of the time, this thing is just sitting here idle. So let's go ahead and try this out. Now, Crafter is what we're using for literally everything over here. So I'll just grab the name. I know I can use a clipboard and stuff, but we are going to set this to Crafter, and we need to link it to Redstone and also link it here. And this is going to be a use mechanical crafter, and that's really all we have to do. Set this to a stack, and it should hopefully start building a stack of those, and we should see those build up over here. We should see this thing start crafting away. There it goes. For the next step, I'm going to have to build a new module, because this is actually new. Whenever I built the mall, we didn't have this grindstone, so it's time for me to start setting this up. And upstairs here, I think I have plenty of room. I should be able to set this up over here. Now, the way this is going to work is you have an item drain, and then we have a grindstone that goes in here, and then one in here. And we need to spin these in different directions. I mean, this seems very, very simple right here. So we could have a funnel that sends the products out, and it doesn't even have to be fancy. It can just be 1 by 1 like this, sending one at a time, and convert that. So that'll send the item out, goes into the grindstone, gets pulled in here, which will then send back in with our redstone signal. And in the back, very simple. We're just carrying it over with an encased chain drive, 2 cogwheels, and that rotates the direction. This should do the crushing. You know what though? I could save a little bit of space if I did change the orientation of this and move it back one. If we can get the whole rotation to change, send it from the other side, so that way we can just send it directly into this container. And that kind of looks like this. So to change that direction, we just use a cogwheel, send that in, and now it's spinning this way. And then we can just name this grinding_CA. I think that is going to be just fine. So now back over here, we do need to define this recipe to be able to get this. I mean, the primary goal is just simply sending 1 to 1 and then sending that to the grinding and then set that to a stack. And I think that will bulk keep that going. And let's hope that that actually sends over here correctly. There it went. And beautiful. That's what we want to see right here. This is great. Now, of course, to help reduce the amount of packages, we can always set this to like 8, for example, so it sends 8 at a time versus what it was sending, which is just 1 at a time. And that prevents a lot of the package congestion. And then finally, the thing that I've wanted automated since we started, which is one of the most painful things to craft. And before the grindstone thing, like it just using sandpaper, this is always such a pain point when crafting into the more advanced things like brass funnels and chutes and things like that. So it is so nice to now be able to have this. So we just need to select this, and then we need to select iron sheets, which we already have in stock, and then set that to the crafter. And then we are going to select the same position as this, paste that in, crafter CA, and we are good to go. Then we just set that to a stack, and we just let it rip, and this is just going to craft those individually. Nothing we can do to really speed this up. It just is what it is. It's going to craft the thing, and then it's starting to craft them. And now we have automated the Electron tubes. Now with that, it essentially created 3 sets. So we technically made like 3 stacks of Electron tubes, which is something to keep in mind. But those 3 stacks of Electron tubes really ate through this. I think we had like 9,000 redstone dust in here, and it chowed through about 4,000 redstone dust to create those 3 stacks. That is wild. So I guess until Stam gets his power back up and running, I'm going to be technically buying them from Beardstone, which I'm sure he'll appreciate. See, as much crying as he did, his time is not wasted. It's definitely worth it. I need the redstone. Now with Electron tubes and stuff done, I mean, what's next? What are some other really annoying recipes? I'm glad you asked. Transmitters. Oh boy, are transmitters incredibly annoying to craft. And it requires 6 copper per transmitter. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like, that really starts to add up the more transmitters you make, and the more you realize transmitters are literally used for all of the good parts of Create right now. Every stock link I have made has costed 6 copper. And I don't even know how many I've placed at this point. Here we go. In the statistics, apparently about 140. You do the math. But I've technically crafted 273 of these transmitters by hand. I think what kept me from crafting even more than that is just I didn't have any copper up until we built the copper farm, that is. And I have done some huge mining sessions and still did not have enough copper because we just use it for everything. So let's go ahead and get this crafted next. Now, to be able to make this, we do need copper sheets and copper rods. Copper rods can be crafted inside of the mechanical crafter. So that one can be handled probably right here. We'll just do copper rod, drag that in, beautiful. And then all we've got to do is connect it up to here, and then state, use the mechanical crafter, and then crafter underscore CA. I've already got this one memorized. And we need copper sheets. So copper sheets, I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and add that to the list. We're going to produce ourselves some copper sheets in this madness. Link that there. And then I've got to figure out, what was my press called again? Oh, yes, it's very pressing. And so we just set that to pressing, and then I'll probably set this to do 8 at a time. I mean, it makes kind of sense doing 8 at a time to keep it within the stacks. But if I did 6, it would make a lot more sense for all of the crafting recipes, but that's neither here nor there. So for both of these, let's go ahead and set them to a stack. There's a stack there, and we'll do a stack here for now. Then last but not least, we combine all of those things together to get a beautiful transmitter. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. So we'll link this, then we link this, then we link our redstone, which is all the way up here. Oh man, and if at this point you haven't figured out how to use these factory gauges, I'm not doing good enough. So let me know down in the comments below, do you understand like now how these factory gauges function and how they interact with the crafters? Because I've been trying my best to like illustrate that and just show it to the best of my abilities. Because I mean, man, at this point, I mean, this could be an incredibly powerful tool. I mean, this is fantastic. This is great if you're playing any sort of Create pack. Setting up some sort of system like this, I mean, is just amazing. I think I just want more people to discover the cool factor of this whole building. Like, this is great. At this point, I am literally 2 steps away from automating factory gauges. So I'll just drop the 2 over here, and this is where we're going to automate stock links. Stock links are, again, quite simple. We need the vault to be connected to this, and we also need these to be connected. And we'll set that up for the crafter. Crafter is now ready to go, and I'm going to set these to like 16 for right now, but I'm sure we're going to end up changing these as we go. I just don't want to jumpstart this whole system too fast and potentially cram the whole thing. But I mean, now that this is identified, we can go factory gauge like so, and then click here. And then what else does the factory gauge need? The factory gauge needs, I think, precision mechanism. And we already have the precision mechanism automated. So yeah, that there we go. Where's the position? There we go. Perfect. And so click that. That is set to factory gauge. Crafter underscore CA. Beautiful. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and set this to 16. I do need these crafted up already because I'm about to run out of them. Now I went to go check and see how my other systems were doing, how they were handling with the packages and sending and all of that fun stuff. And I was met with this. Oh boy. I have a little bit of a problem here, and I'm not quite sure a good way to fix this. See, these are requesting like small quantities, so like it's not really buffering the request, which is kind of a problem on the whole factory gauges and using them this way. But it's like at the end of the day, how else are you going to use them? I really don't know a good way. I mean, there is the repackager, I think, but we would have to define them all separately and then like do another sorter somehow down here. But then that could also cause some problems. So I'm thinking what I might do is buffer off of the chain. So still let this frog port potentially pull the things off, but we can store them maybe in a vault over here and then run them into the post box to keep them constantly filled. And then we might have to figure out a bigger storage for the post box container. So yeah, from the looks of it, I should be able to house the packages inside of a container, and that'll hopefully make this whole setup a little bit smoother. Yeah, we also need to buffer these items because the post box just can't hold the whole amount. So let's sort of figure this out. So what I'm thinking is I could use the package here to pull into a vault to store a bunch of these, and then I could have that routed into the post box to hopefully keep this going. And I'm gonna have to change some configuration in the schedule. And then I'm also going to add, to hold way more packages than this can currently hold, I am going to add a vault into the mix. That way it could store those packages, or at least it says it can store them inside a vault. So I'd assume so. So something like this would allow the packages to be pulled off of here to hopefully prevent so much buildup on this chain, which I didn't even know this many could build up on here. And then I could have the packages flow out like this. And yeah, that chain is nice and cleaned up now. Oh my goodness, what a thing. And then the post box should restock now from the vault, hopefully. But now we have the other issue, right? We need to store those packages inside of a vault in here. So let's just grab some vaults and I guess give ourselves some more space. And you know what? I'm going to place that right in here. So we are going to have just a regular sized item vault. Like so. That's just going to go directly in the middle. Now on the schedule, when it comes to retrieving the packages, like I don't think that there's a timer that we can set, but we can set up a wait timer on the drop off. So let's go ahead and make sure to at least set that to 30 seconds, I think for right now, just to make sure that it has enough time to drop all of the stuff off. Maybe 15 on this one, because this would be the one specifically for Redstone, I think. You know what? No, let's do 30 for right now. You know what? I never had any luck with item cargo inactivity, especially with the packages. So yeah, I still think the time is going to be the best. So now on the schedule, let's go ahead and bring it all the way back till it's retrieving the first package. So that is the first thing it needs to do. And I'm hoping what I'll see is this actually consuming all the packages and not just consuming what's initially in this buffer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and try this. If I give Mr. Oh wait, we have to complete the train. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble the train. Give it to Ozzy Hogsborn and hope that it is pulling the packages. Okay, it is. Oh no, it doesn't. It only pulls the set that's in the post box. Now that is troubling. Now I've caught back up with my train and I'm sending it back because I want to try something different. Maybe I can set a delay, like for it to try to do a request, delay a little bit, do a request, delay a little bit, do a request, delay a little bit, and maybe do that a couple of cycles just to make sure it can pull all of these out. I'm going to give it a shot. Now what I'm thinking is we do a request here for the mall, which is pulling out all of those items. It's fetching those packages. And then down here, I'm going to have it wait 10 seconds to let it maybe restock, and then maybe duplicate this and put it down below. And then we just rinse and repeat this a couple of times to hold it at this station for a while. So for me, it looks something like this. Retrieve packages, stay at the foundry station since it's already going to be there, wait 10 seconds, then do another pull request for the packages, which it should pull them out since it's going to be from this location anyways. And I'm hoping it doing this a few times, waiting 10 seconds in between, will be enough to keep up, and then let it carry on and do its thing. But I mean, this won't always be the case. It's only going to be active like when the main system starts up. I mean, it is just pretty wild that it is only pulling like one at a time. It doesn't have any like checks or anything. I mean, there is a requester that we could potentially use, but the requester I think would be a bit more complicated in setting up, requiring some sort of check to check inventory amounts that are in stock, and then sending a redstone pulse to it when it drops, and then you have the chance of it pulsing multiple times as it flickers between, and then it requests multiple. It becomes a logistical nightmare, and I just want to make this as easy as possible to understand. It's already becoming a bit more complicated, specifically sending items using this method right here. Yeah, I mean, thankfully all of the packages have left. Whenever I stopped this, it just started to fill up with packages, which is interesting. But yeah, as soon as it does its checks here, it's going to set here a couple of times. Hopefully we don't end up with this problem in the future. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to head back and continue automating. So yeah, I mean, I think this is potentially going to work now. I mean, it did flood the packages here. I mean, because we had quite a large buildup, but I don't know if it's going to flood this in the future. If it does flood it, we might have to limit the redstone signal sending to the frog port so it doesn't send so many out at once, because then we could end up with other problems. I mean, maybe it's not going to be that big of a problem. I'm kind of overthinking, I think. But the train should now pick up everything. But I mean, these are just little hiccups that I've experienced the entire playthrough here. Just when you think something is going to work the way you want it to work, it completely breaks and doesn't work that way. But now I have automated factory gauges, and I can pull them out and continue to expand our automation here. I think next on my list is probably getting some brass sheets made up, and then also getting all of these tunnels and funnels and chutes made. Just like all of our sheet production, by the way, the brass, we just say make some brass sheets. And then for this, we need to link it up to our brass node. And I'm going to do 8 again, kind of doing it in sets of 8. And then I need to link it to the pressing yet again. I mean, we're just going to continue to use this. Now, just to keep things unrepetitive here, I have crafted up all of the other 3 components. So the brass funnel, the brass, and smart chutes. So I have all of those running. I mean, the similar thing to what we've done. We've just linked it to everything else that I already have active. And because we already have most of the andesite age automated, it's as simple as just simply clicking on the thing that we already have. And I was even able to get, for example, the deployer up. And the deployer is another just painful thing to craft. But I mean, not anymore. It just auto crafts now. So here we go. I have now automated, well, just about everything that is well to automate. And I have filled out the entire board without extending it. Now, extending it down one more would give me a lot more space, but I can't believe I've already filled this entire space. And what I've added was all of these components here. So I'm making like the clutch, and then we also have the gear shift. I also had to get all of the redstone components to be able to make the redstone pieces, for example, to be able to make a threshold, to make the pulse extender, and I added some sticks over here. And the sticks are being pulled out of our tree farm and just keeping in stock over here, which is working out really nice. So yeah, I mean, we're producing all the cool stuff. So the mechanical arm is now automated. The rotational speed controllers are automated. The observers are automated. Everything is automated. The sequence gear shift. I mean, I am now producing all of the redstone links. This right here is what it's all about. And there's still a lot more that I could technically automate. But that is everything off of my major checklist, because most of this stuff outside of this is very easy to just put together from all the components we're already producing here. And if this isn't a view, I don't know what is. I could sit here and watch this all day long because of how satisfying this is. But now, some things that are not on the list that I didn't really think I needed to automate was the copper components, because Beardstone has all of those automated in the shop. So it's not technically added here, even though it would just be as simple as throwing it back into our crafters like all of our other setups. Now, I just needed more redstone, but I realized I was absolutely scammed. Well, I kind of blame myself. I didn't look around. This one is 5 for 512. Like, that is like 8 diamonds worth of redstone. So you get kind of a discount. I mean, honestly, it was probably well deserved for all of the diamonds. This is definitely worth a single diamond. But I'm going to continue to buy this now. So to fill about, I don't know, the 14 shulker box, give or take, or not 14, 4 shulker box, I'm going to need about 14 of these. Yep, this is going to eat up all of my diamonds, but I do want to restock and make sure I have enough redstone to continue all of this fun stuff. So take my diamonds, fine sir. And yeah, instead of 81 diamonds, this was only 70. I saved some. And I'll tell you what, today was kind of ridiculous. Like, even though I didn't do a whole lot of building, I still solved a couple of problems. For example, with the train logistics, which does seem to be working now. Just having it stay at the destination longer just seems to work. And I've already seen a whole restock happen, so I know that that is functioning correctly. And yeah, the only thing now left, like I said, is just for Sam to get all of the redstone stuff in order. And then once that's done, then we're going to be setting pretty good. Now, of course, be sure to let me know if there's anything that I didn't include on this board that you think I should try to automate. Let me know. Like, the reason I didn't automate copper, for example, or the cardboard is because other people on the server have that automated, and I really wouldn't mind technically buying that product off of them. So, I mean, yeah, if you have to go back and pause the video there to check that out, definitely let me know. Like, what do you think? Is there anything I should also try to automate that I haven't already? I mean, I feel like we got most of these modules set up and ready to go. I mean, these things are looking pretty good. And I'm also going to, like I said, copy a schematic of this. I don't know if it's going to be the entire building, but definitely this part of it, I definitely want to get a schematic of, so that way you guys can plop it down into your own world and give it a try. And you'll be able to find that over on the schematics channel, so be sure to check that out. Well, check it out in the Discord, of course. Link down in the description below. So soon I am going to be selling all of these products. I can't sell them just yet because I do have to let some stock build up, because if I start selling and we only are producing 16, there just isn't anything to sell. So yes, I do have to let some stock sort of build up, and I got to inch these up slowly. Otherwise, this becomes a disaster. That is one of the problems with this particular farm, is if a ton of things are all bought at once, it does take quite a while for stock to build back up. Whereas if only one thing was bought, well, then that would probably restock really quick, because that's the only thing utilizing the crafters and so on. But I do plan on getting that put up. But what should I sell these things for? What is brass and the redstone worth? I mean, it took a lot of time to get those things up and automated. So what's the auto crafting worth for that? Let me know as well down in the comments. And then don't forget to sub to Chosen. Yes, be sure to click that subscribe button if you did enjoy today's video, and give this video a huge thumbs up. A lot of time and effort goes into these projects, and I mean, honestly, it's the least you could do is give this video a little bit of a boost. I do appreciate you guys very much, and speaking of appreciating you, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Beamer. Thank you so much for your amazing support in choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible, absolutely going above and beyond and continuing that support for so long. I do appreciate you very, very much, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.